Alright, and welcome everybody out there. This is Temierus here, and today I have City Patrol. It's in early access, but interestingly enough, though it's in early access on their page, they say it's only going to be in early access till June, and it's coming out early May. And the whole reason it's there is just to see if people like the game enough to buy it or something like that. I guess if it's released enough that you're going to be done that quickly, why not just go ahead and release the game then? I don't know. Let's go into campaign. As you can tell, there's already stuff unlocked here because this has been I wouldn't say a shitty week, just a stupid week for me. The microphone decided it didn't want to record first time I did this. So if I end up a little bit short with this game, that's pretty much why. Basically, the story here is this guy, Brown Coat. He is the new guy in this police department. And why am I even doing the tutorial mission again? I'll probably just show off how... So right now I'm using a gamepad, specifically a 360 controller, because I still have one of those. And though the tutorial will tell me the default mapped keyboard controls, it will not tell me what the controls are while I have gamepad in. So I kind of have to guess at the controls. Luckily, I don't have to go through all the trouble to figure out what's what. Yeah, that one there is an interesting one because it's hold down the right stick, which I'm pretty sure doesn't actually do anything in this game. Oh yeah, honking the horn is pressed on the left stick, which you're using to steer. And there's the siren buttons because it's a police car. And now we cross this finish line, I suppose. Oh yeah, that's right, you take a lap around the track. Which is something I want to bring up. So the game is basically trying to be this kind of combo, bit of a police game, while also having a racing element, because you can either do the campaign where you do the police part, or you can do the race part. Oh, it's got a marker I have to drive through, doesn't it? Shit. See, there it encourages you to actually do this. I was about to point out, because the car pretty much behaves the exact same on that grass as it does on the tarmac. So when you're doing the actual race, which I did when I did the race, I just decided to say screw it, just drove right through the grass, which let me just beat the very hard difficulty with ease. Barely even had to think about it. So if it wants to have the racing game elements, it needs to do something when doing the races to discourage you from just going off track like that. Like one of the more regular car games that I've actually played and actually enjoyed were the Forza games. If you go off the track in those ones, you can be going like 200 miles an hour, go off the track, hit some grass, bam! In an instant, somehow the driver's neck is not snapped. You go down to 5 miles an hour and you're stuck there until you get back on the track. It's not very realistic, it doesn't make much sense, but it at least encourages you to stick to the track. Which, in a game like this, where it's real cars doing real car things in the race, you kind of need to have something like that in place. Otherwise, nobody's going to stick to the track whenever there's an alternative of just blow through some grass and shave off like 30 seconds off your lap time. There's no reason why you wouldn't do that. At least that's what I think. So yeah, if the game wants to decide where it wants to go, I would almost think make this police system more robust, because I'll go through the first mission, maybe 2. It gives you an idea so far of what this entire thing has been. And it gets a little repetitive. Well, it looks like it's just repeat achievements for doing it again. There's the story there. The Tom guy, he's a bit of a creeper. He's really hitting on this lady here. Actually, I don't even know if he's hitting on him as much as he's just being a weirdo. That's the boss there, the balding guy. Not the bald guy, the balding guy. The bald guy is the partner who likes to be mad at the things we do. This one is the guy ran out of gas. So now we're going to see some real police work in action. Alright. Oh, I have to open the map. This is one of those ones where it'll keep you locked out of control as well. The tutorial is trying to give you control until you do that control. Now, contrary to what I was just saying about the off-road part, I don't think you need to do the blanket thing of all grass just stops the car, because having the option to go off-roading in the police segments, I think, is a nice addition. Really expands the kinds of avenues you could take as you enforce the law, because these people on these roads do not respect the police in this town. I can tell you that much. They are a bunch of assholes on that road. Like this guy, he just kept driving. He didn't stop. There's a police van coming at him at high speeds. It means you get out of the way, not continue to drive on your merry way. The law doesn't care where you're trying to go. Alright, so I need to get on that highway, so I have to find some way to jump to get over that K-rail that's around this entire highway. Like right here? Nope. That was enough to do it. And my magic button doesn't put me back. They have a control in there, so if you get stuck, which can happen if you go off the beaten path like this, that can happen, where you end up getting stuck. Alright, so let's get over here and perform this mission. It gets very mad at you if you bump into the guy's car. It, of course, has these scenes where there is no dialogue, it's just look at the people. Okay, and that's a police mission. The guy's out of gas, so we're going to take his car, because we use the spare gas that's on the police van, which if it's a highway patrol van, that makes sense. I don't have issue with that. But we put enough gas in there for me to speed off with his car to bring to a gas station to fill up his car and then bring it to the police station. And so far from what I've played, which I only had one mission left of this campaign, that's the gameplay, is you drive the police vehicle to a point, dialogue happens, you get a non-police vehicle, bring it to a gas station or a service station to get it fixed, go to the police station. Yeah. That text also flies by real fast, so good luck trying to read that. If you're a speed reader, you should be able to do it no problem. I, however, am not one of those. So let's hurry up and speed on back to this police department. I'll try and do it record time as opposed to what I've done before. The issue with trying to go off-road all the time during the actual policing parts, though, is the majority of objects in here will just stop and not bend to the will of a vehicle colliding into it at high speeds. Like a wooden picket fence around a farm. You cannot take the police van through that. If you hit that, the fence will be completely intact, not even a scratch on it. The car will almost flip over itself by the sheer force of slamming into a solid object, which will not buckle under the pressure of the vehicle colliding into it. There's some dialogue. Somebody was in an accident. This is what we do next. Because it really seems we're not so much police as much as we are... Well, we're just a road crew service, I guess. It's probably the best I can think of what I would describe it as. There's not really much policing that happens. Now, I'm pretty sure I can do some more off-road here. Yeah, like right there, the traffic signals, they will not bend to your will. You can find these car carrier trucks that don't have anything on the back of them. It's a little ramp you can jump off of. If you jump near a traffic light, which I found this out the hard way, you will collide with the traffic light, even if your car will clearly fit through There is water there. I did not notice this here before. Is it surrounded by invisible wall? I can't go for a swim. Oh! This is not the course of action I thought would happen here. I did not expect this. So apparently, this is actually a frozen pond, despite the fact that it looks like it's moving water. Huh. I'm really taken aback by this. This is not what I expected the water interaction would be. Okay, then. As you can tell there, I have demonstrated that the car will right itself. It has the tendency and the desire to right itself. So, that's good at least. Alright, now this is the one that ends up upsetting me. Because the car, which I just realized has nitrous in it, fun. So the car is damaged. That means I have to, beyond what I just did to it, that means I have to bring it to a service station, which is on the other side of this hill. And the unfortunate thing is if the car gets so much as a scratch on it after that, you have to go find another service station to repair the car. You don't get to complete the mission unless you do that. Now, I will say a nice thing that the game at least has is if you have something like a 360 controller where it's detectable on kind of more of a gradient scale for your triggers and your joysticks, the game does recognize that. It does realize that you are not fully pressing the trigger or fully pushing on your joystick in a direction, giving you some fine control over what the car can do, though it's not an exact measure of it. Like, it kind of almost feels like it's more of it has a couple stages of it rather than being able to fully detect the full slight or not so slight movement of the sticks or the triggers for your acceleration and brake. So, it's not the finest control you can find out there, but it's better than some. There's definitely some games on Steam that show up and it's just the tiniest bit is just full turn one direction and the tiniest press on the trigger is just pedal to the metal. That guy hit us. What a jerk. Didn't he see I was coming? Why were these people stopped on a green? The traffic systems don't seem to fully know what they want to do. So, there's that. I forget, do I go straight or I turn? I think I go straight. Yeah, I go straight because I have to deal with this roundabout. Like, the roundabout's not an awful thing. It's just sometimes annoying. Alright, so here is where I thought the game would actually be doing most of its stuff in. We have a timed mission here. Now, I didn't read through the dialogue because I was rushing. Because it's very late when I'm recording this because everything's screwed up. And I did not do a good job at foresight here. Mainly because I got home. I didn't realize it until it was like 4 hours later. But when I was sitting at the computer, I guess I just kind of passed out. I had no idea I was actually that tired. Finn, will you not throw the paint pots off of whatever surface I have them sitting on? As I'm saying that, he is over there reaching and grabbing for more paint pots to throw down on the floor. And now he's just rolling around, trying to, I don't know, act like he's insane, because he is. I'm yelling at my cat, by the way, in case you have no idea what's going on right now, which would make sense. I applied absolutely no context to that. I just passed where I needed to go, because distracted driving is a thing. Instead of being distracted by cat memes on my phone, I was distracted by an actual cat in my home. Almost did a rhyme there. I'm slightly proud of myself. Not really, I'm actually incredibly indifferent. Oh, PUBG lawsuit's got shipping containers in it. Alright. So yeah, time mission. Sounds like there might be some real police business here. Really rushed over to get over here. What's the end result of that police business? Well, we pull up to here. They have a bit of a jab at each other. And now I take a car back to the police station. The twist is that I am not allowed to put a scratch on this car. Unlike the last one, where if I put a scratch on the car, it wouldn't let me complete. I could go and fix it. This one, I can't put a scratch on it to begin with. So that is the extent of our policing, is basically being a kind of Uber. Only instead of being an Uber where a car comes to pick up a person, it is a person comes to pick up the car. Would that be called Carber? I don't know what you would call that. That bus just plowed through that. Probably because it is one of the mythical ghost bus. So the mythical ghost bus has plowed into this person, which is now causing a severe traffic jam on the roundabout. Because nobody is permitted in the laws of this world to go around vehicles. I realize, though, my mission is not damage the car. The back windscreen is demolished, and there is a huge paint scuff on the back right, where I had to back in and thought perhaps I should dispense with some police work because I just witnessed a bus just plow through a person. And it was the bus at fault. You could go back and look at it. That was clearly the bus at fault there. That was not the guy in the blue car. The bus decided it was just going to plow into that dude. So you would think I'd dispense with some police work, but no, I am an inverted taxi service. So, yeah. Actually, no. Looking at this, it actually looks like it is the blue car. He totally should have yielded for that bus. I was mistaken. Alright, so I figure I'll show off one race. Unfortunately, I'm not aware of where I'm supposed to go to change the vehicle that I get to be the police van. I did see the setting where you can change the vehicles that these people drive. I just had a little burp there. That's very unprofessional. And unfortunately, I don't see much reason to need to change it anyway, because The vehicles really don't feel that different from what I've played in that campaign mode. They kind of really feel the same, which for a game that's charging $25 is a little bit upsetting. So what I'm demonstrating here is my whole rant at the beginning about having some reason to not go off track. Because as you can tell, I started off on that race, they blew past me. I was going to lose, more than likely. There was nothing I was doing about that. They were clear and far ahead. But because there is absolutely no reason for me to stick to the track, I went to the track. The AI is pretty much glued to that green arrow chain, so I don't need to worry about them doing that. I know when Forza started doing their drive avatars, I actually did see, I think it was at Spa, there were cars just blasting through little segments of grass instead of taking the turns, because the drive avatars are supposed to learn your driving habits and use that as the AI for other people to race against. So if you kept blowing through some grass, the AI would eventually go, you know, there's probably something to that, and just do it. Because it didn't care. It had to be a challenge to you. So, yeah, the game kind of needs to decide what it wants to do, and it needs to pick one of these two routes it has. I'm leaning to it should probably take that police route, make it way more robust, and just stick to that. Get really robust in your policing, and leave the racetracks in there as just a fun little random thing. Don't try and make a 50-50 split of police game and race game. I don't think it's going to work.